Welcome back, eSIM Studios. Boy, we've had some tech issues today. Could have been live hours ago, but been having some issues. But nonetheless, let's welcome the Pixel 11. So we got full specs, we got full colors, we got full prices. Essentially got the Holy Grail and basically know everything about the Pixel. So I want to welcome you in. Thank you for joining us today. It's going to be a quick one. Do have some interesting information not only on the Pixel 11 but also have information on the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra. Yes, the Ultra. I have some big news on the Ultra. So let's jump right into it. How is everybody doing today? Hope everybody had a good weekend. Happy Monday to everybody. I know Mondays suck, but it is what it is. Okay. What's going on, brother? Glad you could join us today. So let's jump right into it. Let's not waste any time on today's news. So let me pull up. Let me share my screen here. Well, I'll ask you this question. After we go over some of the information, the colors, the prices, the storage, the specs, I want you to know, just as we roll through this, just remind yourself halfway through it or somewhere in between when we're reviewing the specs and all the information. Does this entice you to get the device any more than it did possibly, let's say, yesterday, a week ago, a month ago? Or do you have your mind made up? Yes, we're definitely getting it. Or nah, I'm not getting it. Or maybe you're on the fence, right? Maybe you're like, I don't know. I have to wait to see what the trade-in deals are, carrier deals. Keep that in mind as we roll through this. So let's see here. I want to make it a decent size because I think last stream I made it too small. But as we go into this, can y'all hear me okay? We'll blow through this pretty quick. It's not going to be long, right? Let's see. Damn. You know what? I need to buy a new webcam. My video feed looks horrible, huh? Now, do I have it on full 1080p? Yeah, I sure do. Jeez Louise. What is going on? Well, that sucks. Alright. Anyways, I'll have to deal with that at a later time. So, I'm going to get a new webcam as soon as we get off stream here. Okay, so video is fine for you? Damn, it looks jacked up on my end, and then I still get people commenting and say, hey, turn your volume up. And I'm like, what's up with the volume? I check my volume. I'm like OCD with this stuff. I check my volume every stream, and it's fine for me. I want to say, turn your volume up, but I don't want to come across rude or, being that guy. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, it's fine with me. I don't know what's going on. Turn your volume up. I don't know if there's a nice or easy way to say that, but turn your volume up. All right. So look at this. So let's jump into this. So the vertical. Yeah, that's what I was saying, dude. There's no way that could be. Okay. Anyways, I agree. So we got pixel galore, Pixel 11. So let's roll into this. And I did not link this down below in the video description, but I'll do it after. So we're gonna continue this same kind of theme with previous year's Pixels to this year's Pixels. So all the bold colors, eccentric colors, bright colors are going to be on the base Pixel 11. I don't know why they do this. It really bothers me. And then going into the Pixel 11 Pro, Pro XL, Pro Fold, they give you all the boring stuff. So I'm like, dude, come on. I wish they would just make the colors all available to all the devices. So whatever. I mean, some people bother, some people it doesn't, but for me it certainly does. So here's your colors. And again, I know they list the official names of these colors, but I'm just going to give them to you like we see them. Unless you're colorblind, I'm just going to tell you pink, blue, green, black, and deal with it. Sorry, I can't get into all this pistachio and hibiscus. What the hell is hibiscus? Huh? Anyways, okay, so those are your colors for the base Pixel 11. You have like a bluish silver. You got a green. You got a black, and you got a pink. Pink? Yeah, pink is definitely for ladies. My wife saw this and she was like, "Oh, they have a pink." And I was like, "Yeah, but it's it's for the base Pixel. You don't want the base Pixel, remember?" She's like, "Oh, I know they do this every freaking time, man. It pisses me off." And the other thing is, another little tidbit of information, the cool thing they do on the base Pixel that they do not do on the Pro and the XL, the colors, like look at that pink pixel. You see that it went down there in the bottom left? What Google does on the base Pixel, they wrap that color, so it's on the back, obviously, but they wrap it around the sides too. So the side of your Pixel, if you look at it sideways, is pink. If you look at the back, it's pink. On the Pro XL, the Pro Fold, you get your color on the back, but on the sides, it's like a chrome. It's like a shiny silver. It's like a mirror. And it's a fingerprint magnet. I freaking hate that. I just wish they would make the two little changes. And it's not even, don't even get me started on the processor and the GPU. But just as far as aesthetics, this is probably, and everybody's different, my opinion, this is the best looking smartphone in the world. That's just my opinion. I love the way it looks. Classic look. I hope they don't ever change from it. Well, okay, maybe 5 years from now you can change from it, Google, but if they just made these little changes, I think, I don't know. And a lot of people I talk to Pixel owners do not like the silvery sides. And a lot of people don't want to get the base model. Most people want to get the Pro model, a Pro series device. So better cameras, better performance, kind of. But it's just, it could be that much more better if they just did those couple of things, but they're not going to. I guess we'll have to wait another year. So here's the prices. Now, let me look. We're all about honesty here, right? I got it wrong. I was wrong on the price, and I was wrong on the storage slightly. I was kind of right, kind of wrong on the storage. We'll get into it. So here's the prices for the base Pixel 11. $899. Well, let's just do this. $900. $1. $900 for the 256. It's expensive. And $1,019 for the 512. $1,019 for a base model. Well, bigger storage, but where I was wrong at is the base model is not getting 8 gigs of RAM. The base model is getting 12 gigs of RAM. That's what they are saying at the moment. So I was wrong. I said that the base Pixel 11 was getting 8 gigs of RAM. Sorry, my bad. Officially, it's getting 12. Now, let's move on to the Pixel 11 Pro, Pixel 11 Pro XL colors and prices, as well as storage, because I got something wrong on here too that we're about to get to. I'm just being honest. I'm not wrong a lot, but every now and then, put it out there. Correction. So this is weird. These do have some cool colors, but I'm not sure. This is interesting. So you have a green, you have a black, you have an orange, and you have a light blue. Now, I'm not so sure who's going to buy the orange color, because typically to draw women in, you need a girly color like a pink or something, right? This orange looks weird. I don't know. Would more men choose that? Would more women choose that? It's kind of stuck in the middle, right? Well, I was going to make a joke, but probably not. Save that. Okay. And you have a green. Not a fan of that green. They're always going to have black. They've had black every single year. And then instead of having a white color, it's this kind of teal. So what's the official name? So olive, I'm assuming, is the green. Obsidian is the black. Canyon is the orange. And fog would be the light blue. I don't know. I don't get it, but those are your colors. Now, if I had to choose one, let's go back to the 11. If I had to choose a Pixel 11, I'd probably go with the blue top left. If I had to choose a Pixel 11 Pro or Pro XL, I'd probably choose the blue because I've had the black Pixel. I've had, and then I don't like green, and I'm definitely not getting that color. It looks super fruity, the orange color. So I'd be getting the blue tint on each one. I guess officially that's called the fog color. Let's move on. So for pricing on the Pixel 11 Pro, $1099 for the base. Now this is the Pro, Pixel 11 Pro, the smaller Pro. Base 256 is $1099. So the pricing is weird because you can get a standard Pixel 11 512 gigabyte essentially for the same price, a few dollars off from the Pro 256, if that makes sense. The 512 Pixel 11 Pro is $1219. Yikes. And for the 1 terabyte model, $1449 for a small phone. $1449. Now for the Pixel 11 Pro XL, the big boy, the base model, just to get in the door, is $1,300 for the base Pixel 11 Pro XL at 256 gigs. At 512 gigs, you're looking at $1,419. $1,419. And then for the 1 terabyte model, $1,649. Yikes. Now here's where I was wrong on the Pro models. I told you that the Pro models were just getting 12 gigs of RAM. I was like half right, half wrong on this one. The base models, so the entry level 256 gigs, are getting 12 gigs of RAM. So if you get the Pixel 11 Pro, Pixel 11 Pro XL, the base model at 256 gigs, that's only coming with 12 gigs of RAM. They're very clever with how they do this because Pixel users are used to having 16 gigs of RAM on all the Pro models dating back for the last few years. So if you want to get an entry-level Pixel 11 Pro or Pro XL, they're going to reduce your RAM. So they're going to entice users to get that 16 gigs of RAM. They're only putting 16 gigs of RAM on the 512 and the 1 terabyte. So they're going to force, not necessarily force, but kind of, users to get the 512, but then the price drastically increases. So just to review that again, the Pro XL and the Folds as well, base 256, only getting 12 gigs of RAM. It's only when you bump up to 512 and 1 terabyte that you're getting 16 gigs of RAM. So, and you only get 2 colors on the Fold. So you're getting a black and a, what do they call it? Olive green. So prices for these are pretty expensive. $1899 for the base model, 256, 12 gigs of RAM. $2019 for the 512 with 16 gigs of RAM, and $2249 for the 1 terabyte model with 16 gigs of RAM. Yo, that is crazy. Yeah, I'm not a big fan, and I've never been a big fan of Pixel colors. For one thing, all the colors that I did want were the base model, and I'm not getting base models. And that's why I chose just a black like last year. Or my Pixel 7 Pro. I had a black 9 Pro XL. I had a black 10 Pro. I had a blue 8 Pro. And I had a white 7 Pro. So, they've never been good with the colors. They've never been good with color names. That's one of my little gripes with Google. Now is let's go to before I ask you the ultimate question of does this entice you to get a Pixel now that you see the specs? Let's talk about the specs, the internals. No surprise here. We know it's going to have the Tensor G6. We know it's going to have that 5-year-old GPU. It's going to have Wi-Fi 7. It's going to have Bluetooth 6. Now, the only specs on the spec sheet that like really impress me or really pop out to me is the fact that the battery is just slightly going to get larger. But the cool thing is these phones should get really good battery life. Now, let me explain why. Because it's getting the all-new Samsung M16 OLED panel. This is going to be the very first device on Earth with Samsung's new M16 OLED panel. The same one that's going to be put on the iPhone 18 Pro and Pro Max. And I know you're thinking, oh, what's the big deal of freaking OLED panel? It's a big deal. This is going to be a full 10-bit plus display. It's going to be even more power efficient than previous generation's M14 OLED panel. They skipped the 15, kind of like OnePlus skipped the 14 for the phones. Samsung skipped the M15 OLED panel, went straight from 14 to 16. Now, it's even more brighter. It's even more bolder. And Pixel's not putting this stupid privacy shade on this display. It's going to look badass. Now, that's not the coolest thing about it. It's going to use even less power than the M14 OLED panel. The M14 OLED panel used 74% less power than the M13 OLED panel. So it's going to use even less power and get even more brighter. So I say that to say this. That new CPU that's in the Tensor G6, world's first, maybe beat Apple by a couple months, the very first, world's first 2 nanometer chipset on the market. 2 nanometer chipset means it's a smaller foundation. It takes less power to run all those computing electrons around the base. So the 2 nanometer means it's going to use less power, more efficient. So you're going to get a more efficient display. You're going to get a more efficient CPU, and you're going to bump the battery up a little bit, not drastic, but a little bit. Well, that should equate to pretty good battery life. I'm going to be honest with you. Now, it's not going to be one plus 15 2-day battery life, but I think Pixel users are going to see a drastic increase in the amount of screen on time. Maybe going, if you average on your Pixel right now, your Pixel 10 Pro, if you average 7 hours of screen on time, I think you're going to hit 9. I think it's going to increase your screen on time in the overall battery life of the device probably by 20%, maybe 30%. And that's a lot. So I think users will see really good battery life with this phone. You're going to get all new camera sensors. It's a decent upgrade. Now, the only thing I haven't heard is the 200 charging cycle limit. From what Google said this time last year, it's going to be on all future phones, or whatever they said, all future devices moving forward. So I fully anticipate the 200 charging cycle limit to be implemented into the Pixel 11 series devices, which blows, which sucks, which essentially makes the phone useless after 6 months of use. Sorry, it is what it is. Now, question before we move on, does this entice you any more than you were possibly a week ago, a month ago, to getting one of these devices? Are you on the fence? Are you just, nah, I'm going to pass? Or are you all in, you're grabbing one? Because for me, I've told you all over the past few months that I'm going to skip this generation of Pixel, and I still am. I'm still going to skip it. Now, we are going to get one in the house. I think my wife is going to get one. Yeah, you're going to pass. So we'll have one whenever they get launched. We're going to order one for her, and then I'll unbox it and take a look at it. We'll take a look at it together. But I'm going to pass this year. I just don't see... with this 200 charging cycle limit thing, it just really bugs me. I just haven't seen... I think if you love Pixel, if you like Pixel, you're going to like this new Pixel phone. But for me, I'm going to pass. But I think what I am going to do is potentially now get a Flip 8. I know I told y'all I'm done with the Flip this year. I didn't know this was going to be the last one. Did y'all see my community post that I put out? Apparently they're done with the Flip series. Who knew? If I, just a week ago, I was going to skip the Flip 8. In fact, I think I've said that multiple times. And now I'm like, well, shit. It's going to have a new Snapdragon modem, new Snapdragon CPU, GPU. It's going to be the last one. I might as well get the very last one. That means I'll have every phone in the series. So I'm probably going to go ahead and grab one of those. I love the Flips. But as far as Pixel goes, yeah, that's right. For the cost, and speaking of that, we're going to look into that probably tomorrow. The Find X10 Pro Max Indoor Pro getting ready for launch, and specs are starting to leak out on that as well. Now, speaking of Samsung, boy oh boy, they absolutely nailed it on this Z Fold 8. And I know you're thinking, they nailed it on the Z Fold 8. What are you talking about? Well, we got word today that the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra is going to launch with a zero crease display. Now, I know we've all heard it before. Well, this year the crease is going to get smaller. This year the crease is going to get smaller. Samsung, well, we worked on the hinge and reduced the crease by 34% from last year and 64% from the previous year. And you're like, yeah, whatever. Well, there's proof. There's a real video. It's not a dummy unit. It's an actual working unit. They showed you playing YouTube and going through the operating system. This is a real unit, a Z Fold 8 Ultra. Not the small wide one, but the traditional fold with no crease whatsoever. Even looking at it in a light, you get the reflection. Nothing. Pure glass. Pretty freaking incredible. Now, this is a big deal because Apple was before today was going to introduce the world's first no crease folding phone, which was a big deal. And then Samsung, that's about the only thing it has going for it. But, it is a big deal. They did beat Apple to the punch, seemingly by 2 months now. But just like Pixel with the first 2 nanometer chipset in the world, it'll have the world's first 2 nanometer chipset, but only for a month or so, or a couple months. Well, Samsung's going to have the world's first creaseless display, but only until Apple's comes out. Now, I know the Oppo Find N6, it's still got a crease. I know people like to say there's no crease there, but there is. I've seen a couple of YouTube video reviews where if you put it in a reflection, crease is still there. This one from the Z Fold 8 Ultra, it's not there. The only thing we don't know is Samsung going to put this on the other models? Because the only device in the video is the Z Fold 8 Ultra. But are they going to put that same hinge technology inside the Z Fold 8, the wide body? And are they going to put that same hinge in the Flip? I have no clue. And I guess we'll have to wait for more leaks to see if that's the case. I have that video loaded in my phone. I was making a few shorts before I went live, which I'm going to upload here as soon as we're done. But let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about, because I just don't want to tell you. I actually want to show you here. Here it is. Y'all ready? So there's sorry, I can't make it much bigger, can I? That is the Fold 8 Ultra. I'm assuming they've already started producing these, so this is like probably straight off of the production line. Somebody was like, I gotta go to the bathroom and put one in their side pocket. It went to the break room and probably took a video of this. It's kind of hard to see right there, I'm gonna upload a short that I made right before I went live to show you, and you get a better picture of this. But you can see there, I'm looking at it, there's no crease. I mean, it's pretty incredible. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there you go. That's the only thing it's got going for it, because this is a refresh. This is the definition of a refresh. You're not going to get anything new with this Fold, and it's just, again, I think the real demand, the real interest is going to be in the wide body, the Passport style, the Z Fold 8. I think that's where the interest is going to be, is on the wide one. That's going to compete with the iPhone Ultra. I think they're not going to sell many of these. The prices are going to be exorbitant. That is nice. Wow. Isn't that crazy? Pretty freaking cool. Yeah, the crease is, I mean, look, that's true. On the Oppo Find N6, so if you have a, let's say 0% crease is like this new Fold 8 Ultra, where 0%, there's a 0% crease. And then let's say like 100% crease, it would be like a V. It would be like a V going down the middle of your screen, right? Well, the Oppo Find N6, if 0% means a 100% flat plane across the display, the Oppo Find N6 is probably like 5%. Like, it's just barely there. And it helps. And when it's open, I'm sure, and you're not under direct light, I'm sure it appears as if it's not there. When you run your finger over it, you probably be able to feel it. Not like it's a huge deal. I know it bothers some people more than it does others. But they're almost there. I think this could be, because he did show it in a bunch of different angles. He showed it in light. He showed it opening it. He showed it closing it. It's a real working unit. Because when I heard the video out, I'm like, is this going to be some kind of, where they kind of fake it, sort of, so to speak? But that looks like a real device. Well, look, my hat's off to Samsung. At least they're doing something right. And I know it sucks. It had to take Apple for launching a competing foldable for Samsung to be able to hurry up. Oh, we got one out right before Apple. I guess that's why competition is good for the end consumer. But in our shoes, they're raising the prices, so competition can't be Typically, when you get competition between two companies, you get better innovation and cheaper prices. Well, with this one, we just got better innovation. But look, I know that this is a huge deal. That's why I'm making it this news a huge deal, because it's always the talk of every single launch, of every single foldable. How's the crease? Is there a crease on there? Did they get rid of the crease? We will have to wait and see. I would like to think they would put it in the Z Fold 8, the wide. Who knows? Are they using the same hinge technology? I have no clue. You would think they would. I just don't know. What I would really like to see them is put this hinge technology in the Flip 8. Now, the Flip 8 doesn't bother me. The crease, it just doesn't. I've used every single one of them, so obviously it doesn't bother me. I think it would bother me, well, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. The flips have gotten smaller and smaller each year as well, so we'll just have to wait and see. No kidding. Yeah, at $1629, that's a good deal, because that thing is spec'd out to high heaven. So that's probably the best foldable you can get in the world, right? In the US, official foldable, the Motorola Razr Fold is probably the best one. But if you're talking the entire world, the Oppo Find N6 is the best foldable you can get, hands down, period. Best cameras, operating system flies. I'm sure it's fantastic battery life. There's essentially no crease. So yeah, that's, if you can find a good deal on one, that's a good buy. If they get IP6869 rating, then it might be interesting competition, but no silicon carbon battery kills it. And I don't think they're increasing it that much. They're going to say, oh, we increased the battery. not, it's, I don't even know what it's going to be at, but it's like, what, 5% more than last year. Samsung website, go to stores, usually leak videos. I used to work at a store where the rep would show us the phone weeks in advance. No kidding. How far are we away? We are 9 days away. Pretty cool. Let's see here. Damn, there was something else, wasn't there? We got Pixel 8, we got Fold 8. I know there's something else. Give me a second. I know I'm missing something. I know we're missing something. See, I started this YouTube channel with a ton of Pixel users. Because when I started this channel like three years ago, I was heavy, big time into Pixel. And then slowly over those last 3 years, they did stuff that just rubbed me the wrong way. Now, I'm not saying like, I'm not saying I'm never going to own a Pixel again. It's not like that. But I can't begin to tell you how big of an issue the 200 charging cycle thing is for me. And ever since then, this time last year, when I found that out, I was like, I thought it was a joke. I was like, you have to be shitting me. And then I know it's ironic, we're eSIM studios over here, but I disapprove of going all eSIM, right? I prefer a physical SIM and eSIM, right? Give us the option. And then Google threw that out the window. So it's these little things like that. And not to mention, they raise the price, they lower the specs, base model, and it's hard to justify spending the same amount on a Pixel 10 Pro XL from a OnePlus 15 that blows it away in every category, and it's $300 cheaper. So I'm like, what are we doing here? Like that, and that also reminds me, OnePlus. Yes. So I know there's been tons of people call me out, and I don't know why, call me a liar, which I get called out. It doesn't bother me. I'm just setting up this story. Shh, don't tell anybody. I get called a liar, and like, oh no, OnePlus is not shutting down. Well, we got news today. They are. Well, at least in the US and in Europe, which aligns with what we've thought this whole time, right? So technically there will be a company named OnePlus, but they're only operating in China and India, and they're not shipping phones globally. So if you do not live in China, you do not live in India, you're going to have to go grab your phone on Giztop, right? And we'll have to wait and see, but I don't think it'll be worth buying. But the OnePlus 16 I'm talking about, OnePlus 16. Now, we don't know if they're going to continue the 16R series. We don't know if they're going to put the R series, OnePlus 16R in India and only have the 16 in China, or I don't know where this is going. But we did get word today that OnePlus is officially shutting down shop. They are not operating in the United States or Europe, and it goes into effect this week. Like literally within, I think Wednesday or Thursday is their last day of operation in the United States, or excuse me, in North America and in Europe. So it's official today. They made it official. They did make a statement, a PR statement today. Their marketing team put a statement out saying that they're going to cease operations in North America and Europe. So it sucks, but we knew this day was coming. And it is here. Really? Vivo comes out soon. Global. Vivo is going to start selling globally. Yeah, I would like to get my hands on one of those. And maybe I'll do that, right? With the number of, because look, in my world, just a couple of years ago, I had all these options. Now OnePlus is no more an option. Now Pixel is no more an option. So that leaves me with iPhone, which is not really an option. They leave me with Samsung and Motorola. Remember, Motorola only updates two of their phones. He said basically. So like, you see what I'm saying? Like, my options are really really scarce right now. As I mentioned a couple years ago, you had Google, OnePlus, you had all the phones. Well, not all, but you get the point. And now it's like, man. So I really really hope Vivo goes global, and I want Oppo to go global. And I mean by saying I want to go on Oppo's website and purchase a Find X10 Pro or Pro Max on their website and have from Oppo and have them ship it to me here. But what looks like is going to have to happen. No word of that yet, so probably going to have to order one on eBay. I'm assuming, right? How could I forget about nothing? I beg your pardon, nothing. And look, if y'all want me to be honest, I know I just got into their program, reviewers program. Let's be honest, right? We're about honesty over here. Them not putting, well, I guess they do have Wi-Fi 7 in their latest, in the Nothing Phone 3, so maybe I was about to say a dumb statement. But the whole Wi-Fi 7 thing on their mid-range phone, it's a big deal to me. Not having the latest Bluetooth, I think it has Bluetooth 5.3, and most have 5.4 and even 6.0. Like, there's a couple of specs on there that really hit me in the gut that is almost, it is a deal breaker, honestly. So, and the Nothing Phone 3 is so ugly, I'm not going to buy that. So that's why I didn't even register in my head. You know what I'm saying? Their earphones are great. I love their earbuds. And in fact, that's what I'm getting to review. But look, Nothing has to make some improvements on their end when it comes to phones too, because them not having all that great specs on their mid-range didn't really make me want to go out and grab a Nothing phone. And their phone 3, their flagship, is so ugly, didn't make me want to go grab it. So they have work to do. Now, they can certainly get back in that spot where, man, when a phone comes out, I immediately go buy it online, right? I don't know who's calling the shots. I don't know who's saying, nah, let's not activate or put a Wi-Fi 7 in there. Nah, we don't need to put the latest Bluetooth. It's not that important to our users. It should be, because you're not putting the very best mid-range CPUs in there. So, or flagship CPUs at that. So there's like a few things that I wish I could get through to the team to tell them, like they're going to listen to me, right? But I'm just saying, from a user's endpoint, like, I don't know, like they need to make some improvements as well on some of their devices to make them desirable. But yeah, I didn't even think about Nothing when I put my little list out, and that's a shame. Like, it should be the opposite, right? You getting the new earbuds this week? You got them in pink, man. I need to look at my tracking because I think it was supposed to be here this week. I don't know where they are at. I'll do it here in a minute. But OnePlus is getting dual eSIM. Interesting. You're talking about the new OnePlus phone, right? It's that one that they're launching in, is it the new Nord? In China or India? Interesting. Very cool. Well, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I do appreciate the time. I could have been live and had a much better produced show for you earlier today, but I ran into some technical issues. You want to know what I was doing? I got back on TikTok, but I'm on like a burner account or burner phone. And so I'm trying to go live on TikTok, but StreamYard, who I use for YouTube, doesn't connect on the back end. Like when you go into StreamYard, you can connect Facebook, you can connect YouTube, you can connect Twitter, RTMP feeds and stuff like that. You can link them on the back end so you can stream to a bunch of different platforms all at once. Well, they don't support TikTok. And so I was like, man, it's like, I know there's a way you can get your stream key and then add that, like manually force it to link up to TikTok. I couldn't figure out how to link up this stupid TikTok thing. and I've uploaded a few videos over there. And just in this last week, I doubled my follower. Well, I got like 4,000 followers. And I got all these views. And I got accepted to their creator program this morning. And I got my TikTok shop approved, so I can like sell shit on there. And a bunch of other stuff. So I'm like, wow, this is going way faster than I thought on there. Just don't let anybody know I'm on a burner account. But whatever, it's legit. My account was reviewed, and but I'm just not letting them steal any of my data. How about that? So anyways, I was trying to figure that out on the back end. That is a weird application. It's got so many little options and settings and all sorts of stuff. So crazy. Well, I appreciate the time. Thank you very much. I'm going to upload some shorts here in just a minute with some better, clearer images of that Fold 7 and some other information and news. So I do appreciate the time. I'll try to go live earlier tomorrow. This is too late for me. So moving forward, I'm going to try and do I know I've said this a couple times. I'm going to try and do a given set time every single day. Not every day, but a set schedule. Let me just say that, a set schedule. I'm trying to do a set schedule. It would make it easier for me, and I think the viewer as well, if you knew eSIM Studios was going to go live every day at 3 p.m. And then I just like a freaking news channel, news station. So trying to go full-time YouTube, and I think I need to do that to get going. So appreciate the time. I'll see y'all on the next one. It's getting dark outside. Peace.
Yeah. Woo.
I just need my space right now.
Fresh off the G5 jet, I'm on my way to a brand new kit.